Hi everyone, it's 314 Reactor here. Welcome back. Today we're going to be journeying back to the early 2000s to explore the tech demo of Exile, a creation of Crytek that laid the foundation for their future success. Crytek, founded by the Turkish-German Yerli brothers in 1999, made their mark with their stunning tech demo Exile Dinosaur Island, a project that showcased a game engine capable of rendering larger viewing distances than others at the time. This breakthrough caught the attention of Nvidia and various media groups at the 1999 E3 Expo, leading to a partnership with Nvidia to distribute Exile as benchmarking software for Nvidia cards. Over the years, Crytek's impressive portfolio includes the tropical FPS Far Cry, the near-futuristic Crysis series renowned for its high-quality graphics, Rise Son of Rome set in an ancient Rome, and the multiplayer bounty hunting game Hunt Showdown, and let's not forget, there are whispers of a potential Crysis 4 on the horizon. But today, we're going to be focusing on the Exile demo from the 2001 PC Gamer Disc, a demo that back in the day was too advanced for my family Pentium 2 with onboard graphics and 64 megabytes of RAM. It showcased groundbreaking features like bump mapping, reflections, refraction, and some really cool dinosaurs. For those interested a bit in nostalgia, there's a link to a video of the original 1999 demo in the description. But for now, let's jump into the world of Exile and explore the technology that was far ahead of its time. Alrighty, so when you first open the application, you come to this little window here. You can select a number of resolutions. We're going to be running in windowed mode because when I try and run full screen, I really have trouble getting it to close and have to use the task manager, so it messes up my resolution. So we're just going to run it windowed. We've set the color depth to 32-bit, Z buffer depth, no VSync, and here you can select the different rendering modes. We're going to check out a couple of those. So it starts off by default at the fly-through demo, which you've just seen there. But there's also the interactive educational demo, the bump mapping demo, reflections, and refractions demo. So the first thing we'll do is we will have a look at the bump mapping demo in GeForce 3 mode. So this specifically needed GeForce technology to run it. This was back in the days where things were a bit more Wild West, so not all hardware was capable of all things. So you needed Nvidia hardware to do it. Let's dive in and see some cool bump mapping. Ooh, check that out. Oh, look at that bump mapping. That is so good. I love that effect. Just back in the day, this kind of thing was incredible. I think the first time I ever saw bump mapping and learnt about it was in Halo 1. So this was right around that magical time where games were starting to use that kind of technology. And you can see obviously it's relatively low poly. You can see there the sort of edges, the polygons, the vertices. But with that extra detail from the bump mapping, it makes it look like there's so much more detail than there actually is. And when we go to the other side, but there's no lighting, so you don't really see the bump mapping, you can see the difference it makes. Just very flat. And then as we come around into the light, you can see it really gives that illusion that there's so much more detail. I've always loved that shininess of bump mapping. I don't know what it is, I just love it. Let's check out that same demo again, but with 5th generation hardware. I'm not sure what it's going to do here, whether it will just restrict it to a fixed function pipeline. Let's see what it does. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, I think there you go. Yeah, it's just basic lighting. I think it's just fixed function kind of thing rather than using the programmable shaders on the GeForce 3. So it looks like, yeah, it's just the textures and Vertex shading and no bump mapping. So going up from GeForce 1 to 2 to 3 with those programmable shaders, you know, the Xbox kind of era really brought those extra effects. You can really see the difference there. That's fantastic. And if we just load that up in iCat here, and I've tried to match the frames as best as I can, you can see just the difference that makes as you apply that bump mapping to it. Like really flat, old school 90s style, and then boom. Oh, it's so good. I grew up watching a TV show called Transformers Beast Wars, and it had this kind of bump mapping and stuff on that because it was like CG rendered. And just seeing that running on a computer, or when I first saw it on my Xbox on Halo, that sort of bump mapping, it was just magical. Obviously, objectively, it doesn't look realistic or as good as modern day stuff, but that still just looks so beautiful and it's so nostalgic to me. Let's get a little bit more detail there. Zoom right in. So you can see there's kind of like pre-baked detail on the texture there, but then adding in that real-time lighting, just, it's so nice. It's very shiny, of course. Like I don't know if a T-Rex would actually be this shiny. It looks like it's been covered in Vaseline, but damn, it looks good. Okay, so let's go and check out the Reflections demo. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I just love that. Again, it's just that extra detail, that look where it's like you're moving into the world of, you'd only get this on pre-rendered 90s stuff. And we've seen it recently with like Halo and Brute Force, when I've been doing videos on them, especially Brute Force. It looks like real-time rendering of pre-rendered 90s stuff. So moving into that age would have been incredible. Because yeah, you'd only see this kind of thing on like Beast Wars or Reboot or stuff like that. These really awesome CG shows. But of course, the games at the time of those shows would have been really, really basic stuff like Duke Nukem or Doom or maybe even Quake, stuff like that. So to go into the 2000s and see this kind of stuff in real time on your home computer, oh yeah. Okay, so that's in GeForce 3 mode with the programmable shaders. Let's have a look at the old fixed function mode of the GeForce 1 and 2 pipeline. Oh, wow. I guess both are using a cube map. That would make sense. They're both sampling that cube map to make that reflection in the same way, but the reflections on the 6th Gen 1 also combine with the bump map to give you that per pixel detail around, to morph the reflection around the surface normals from that bump map. That would make sense, because at the moment I'm guessing it's just sampling the normals of each vertices and then running the reflections off of that, sampling the cube map off of that, rather than off of the more detailed bump map normals. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think that's what's happening there, because it looks like it's the same tech reflecting, but it just looks obviously far less detailed without the bumpiness on the T-Rex. Let's have a look in iCat. So yeah, we can see a bit more clearly what's happening there. And I think that is the case, that it is the same cube map reflections, but just having that per pixel bump mapping applied to it as well, to adjust the reflection as per the bump map. Because otherwise you're taking like a vertices, I think, and then taking the single normal the way it's facing, and then basing all your reflection calculations for the cube map off of that. That is so cool. Look at the extra detail there, because when you've just got the reflection in, you don't have the texture. You don't even have like the pre-baked texture look of the surface. You just have this flat reflection. So when you add in that bump map, it really re-adds that detail. And zoom out a bit. So the next demo is the Refractions demo. Let's try that in 6th Gen mode. Ooh, yeah, look at that. So instead of sampling a cube map there, it would be, I guess, sampling what's behind the T-Rex and then just calculating it through the vertices and through the bump map normals. Oh man, that looks so nice, doesn't it? Again, just imagine running this on an old beige box in the early 2000s. It'd just blow your mind. So I'm guessing when we switch over to 5th generation fixed function, we'll see the same sort of thing, but the reflections will be much more simplified because it won't be applying the per pixel normals from that bump map. So yeah, let's have a look at that in fixed function mode. It's also quite funny that I'm running this on RTX 4090, like 2 decades more advanced technology. It's quite funny. Refractions and 5th generation, yeah, let's fire it up. Yeah, there you go. A lot more smoother. It still looks great, but yeah, you can see the much less detail. Yeah, it doesn't look anywhere near as accurate either. Because on the 6th Gen 1, you can see the trees are much more accurately behind the T-Rex. Like, they're still there now, but it just looks a lot more distorted. It'll be sampling that pixel behind the reflection. Through? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think you'd sample through the T-Rex, get the surface normal, and then calculate the pixel it wants to be sampling from some sort of calculation from that. So you'd be getting a pixel over here rather than a pixel like here with the bump map, with those more detailed sort of surface per pixel surface normals. So all the trees and stuff are like way reflected over here on that, as if the T-Rex is much more thickly made of glass. That is really interesting. Yeah, let's check it out in iCat, see if we can get those details more down. Yeah, so here we are in iCat, and of course on the left you've got fixed function, on the right you've got the bump mapping. And you kind of see what I mean. Like, it's just hugely distorted. So the mountains there are like reflecting. It's almost like it's going through a really, really thick glass and completely distorting that. Because the mountains are down there on fixed function, but they're much more up here. And the tree you can see going through there, down there. Again, I think it is because it's just calculating through the surface normals of the polygons. You're just processing all those pixels through those same normals, I guess, on the vertices. And then with the bump mapping, you've got loads and loads of per pixel normals that you can more accurately adjust to get the refractions to go through. Look at the difference. Let's get a little zoom out. That is a hell of a leap. I think both look great. They both have that nostalgic value, but going up to GeForce 3, DirectX 8, programmable shaders. And of course that led to the world we have today, where you have games that have such high complexity programmable shaders and they compile on the fly, and then your game has stuttering. This is where it all began. Now let's check out the interactive educational in 6th gen mode. Ooh. And it's non-inverted. Ooh, look, it tells you about... Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's the stuff. So you have to have the mouse keys to move around, but it's still awesome. Oh, yeah. So you can turn stuff on and off in real time. What has applied texture shader effect? So I'm guessing that's a render to texture. Oh, that's good. And then R to disable rippling. Look at that. Enabling that bump map. I think it's literally you have a bump map moving across the surface. And then T to enable the bumped sun reflection. Oh, man, that looks great. The character keeps sliding downwards for some reason, but look how much better it looks. It just looks so... You can really see that texture sampling there. Especially on that mountain. But when you turn on the rippling, it just completely hides it. You can really see the early stages of Far Cry here. And even Crysis, of course. Because I didn't know. I always knew about this demo, of course. I knew about it like 2 decades ago. But when I got Far Cry and played Crysis, I had no idea it was by the same people. Until I went back and looked at that old DVD a few years back and went, oh my god, Crytek made that. It's kind of scary as well. In terms of back then, it was so new and the technology was so advanced. It was like, whoa. And it really wasn't so mainstream back then. And it also reminds me of the T-Rex demo for the PS1. That was scary as well. Because again, it's just, you didn't have Twitter, you didn't have social media, you didn't have YouTubers talking about this stuff. There's no Linus Tech Tips, nothing like that. It was just, you would get a DVD from a PC gamer or a PS1 demo disc, shove it in your PC or console or whatever, and then just see this advanced technology without much idea of what's going on. It was just so new and amazing to see happening. Whereas now you obviously have demos on YouTube and stuff like that, and it's all kind of out there. You can get all the information. developers are constantly pushing their stuff to the mainstream to say, hey, look at our new technology. So it's no longer so much of a surprise. But back then it was literally just, you wouldn't know anything about it. And you just experience it for yourself like this. You can also see the rippling only goes so far there. Or maybe just at a distance it's calculated in a different way. Yeah. Oh man. There we go, here we go. There's a dinosaur here, I think. I thought I saw one earlier, but this one actually is one. Oh, is that a... Oh my god, did it just disappear? Is that just not rendering properly? Oh, that's so freaky. It's there, but it's not there. It just seems to disappear when I go up to it. Got it, I figured it out. It's the W button. I was trying to use WASD to move earlier. And what it does, it changes things from wireframe to vertices points to adding textures on. That's why. And then S adds in the bump mapping. That's why I couldn't see them properly earlier. That's quite funny. So you can see the relatively low polygon nature of these things. But then when you've got that additional detail of the bump map on. Oh yeah, check this out. Oh, there we go, space key. Oh, it gives you some actual information on the dinosaurs as well, and not just the tech information. I would love a modern day version of this. It's not just nostalgic, it's just awesome overall. It's such a cool concept to have an island you can walk around and you can learn about dinosaurs. It's awesome, but you can also learn about the technology that's rendering everything as well. I would love to see a modern day version of this. Going over like more stuff we know about dinosaurs now, and also modern day rendering techniques as well. Like you could have a thing that comes up and talks to you about physically based rendering and stuff like that, and ray tracing. Oh, it'd be so good. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. And not all of them have little information things either. Only some of the dinosaurs have the information things. So interestingly, that doesn't have a bump map applied to it. Interesting. Stegosaurus is over there. We have a higher up view on a little hill. Ah, so, yeah. That is the DNA of Far Cry and Crysis right there. Oh, man. The island is huge as well. I love this sort of era of benchmarks and 3D graphics. And the fact that it just runs so easily on Windows 11 and modern hardware is actually hilarious. It's literally just a zip file that you unzip and run and it's fine. Okay, so you can use the function keys to move around between different dinosaurs, and the B key changes the types of textures that are being applied to them. So there we go, the normal texturing, the reflections, and the refractions. It's even reflecting the model there. It's a bit janky though. I think the L key applies lighting to it as well. I think it's making it so there's a moving light around it, rather than just a single point of light from the sun. So you can see even more detail on the bump maps as the light moves around it. Wow. What a feature-filled little demo. So those little dots, I think that's just the skeleton of it. So you can go from the skeleton to the wireframe to fully textured. And it also changes how the shadow mapping there works as well, which, that's brilliant. So yeah, with that moving light going around it. Look at that. Oh, here we go, yeah, here we go. Consists of 25,000 triangles, all hardware skinned using optimized Vertex program. The T-Rex has a further high-resolution decal and bump map. Oh my god, so you can even change the bump mapping modes, and you can use plus and minus to decrease the bump mapping strength. Oh yeah, look at that. 0 bump mapping strength. Maximum bump mapping strength. Let's keep the lighting where it is. Yeah. Slowly increase that bump mapping level. Oh man. So you can slowly fade that bump map in. So, that was a quick little look at this ancient gem of a tech demo. I love it. It's so cool. In the description, there will be links to the demo of this, as well as a link to the 1999 version of it, as a video on YouTube, and also some more information about Crytek, bump mapping, and some other cool things. It's been a fun video to make. It's been a busy week. That's why the video is a bit late. What a pleasure to run this. And yeah, I really hope there's a Crysis 4. And I really hope Crytek make another version of this for modern day technology and some more education about dinosaurs and stuff. Do leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think. Did you play this demo back in the day? Did you have the hardware to run it back in the day? That must have been incredible if you did. Let me know what nostalgic thoughts this gives you. Are you excited for Crysis 4? Hit that subscribe button. Hope everyone's staying safe. And I will see you in the next video.